It is time for part 2 of my Sonim Technologies Inc. with the ticker symbol of SONM video series where I look at kind of the business and how well it's doing. If you haven't seen my video on where I explain what Sonim does and what it offers, then I will leave a link up in the top corner. This video I'm actually just going to have a look at the financial side of Sonim. So I will look at its most up-to-date revenue. I'll kind of check out where its stock price is at to give you an understanding of, well, how it's dealing with a bit of a crisis at the moment. Here we have Sonim's investor relation stuff on their website, which I will link down below in the description. Firstly, we're going to actually have a look at the total for 2020, and then we're going to actually have a look at the Q1 for 2021. Here we have their revenue, or for the full year of 2020 and 2019. So in 2019, they made 116.25 million, and in 2020, in net revenue, they made 63.9 million. So that is a pretty substantial reduction, to say the least. So their gross profit, once you subtract the cost of revenue, in 2020 was 15 million, and for 2019 was 34.5 million. So not really that great. I mean, they must have cut costs because their gross profit relative to their cost of revenue and their revenue is, yes, slightly better, I think. They reduced their investment in research and development, sales and marketing, and general and administrative, so they must have kind of cut back on their day-to-day operations. But when you actually compare their net loss for 2019 to 2020, the net loss actually wasn't that far off. So they had for 2020, 29.9, so about 30 million loss. And for 2019, they had about 25.8. So that was for their year ending of 2020 and 2019. But as you can imagine, they had quite a hard time in 2020. Like almost every other business on the planet, except for like Amazon and Google. I think they had quite a good time. So let's actually have a look at their earnings for Q1 of 2021. Having a quick look at their balance sheet, they did have in December 31st, 2020, 22 million in cash and cash equivalents, whereas in March 31st, they have about 13.9. So they are burning through a bit more cash. They also have quite a big reduction in, assets. So they went from about 50 million in assets to 40 million in assets. Whereas their liabilities have stayed almost the same with a very slight reduction. So by the looks of things, they did have a surplus, but they are burning through it. And here we have their revenue when you are comparing the first quarter of 2020 to 2021. So they went from, 12 million to 12 million, 12.7 million to 12.2 million. Their cost of revenue actually went down, which is good. It went down by just a bit more than what their net revenue was. So they actually managed to increase their gross profit. They have spent more in research and development, but less in sales and marketing and general administrative, and more in legal costs. So if we actually have a look at their net loss for that quarter, they went from 9.9 million in 2020 to 9.2 million in 2021. Right now it is a penny stock, so it's trading around $0.4444 dollars per share. It has a market cap of 29.4 million. Its 52-week range has went from 42 cents to $1.70. Its earnings per share are 0.5. Looking at the graph, it has, for the first day it went up, and then it's just kind of gradually went back down. 5 days, it looked like it had a bit of a steep drop. 1 month, it's still in the red. 6 months, still in the red. 1 year, it looked like it was kind of at it averaged around $1 up until September, and then it kind of gradually picked back up until it had another crash, which it is in just now. 5 years, it is pretty much a shadow of what it was. And looking at its max, same thing, really. So my verdict on Sonim in terms of its finances, not so good. I mean, it still has kind of enough money to stay afloat, but it is burning through its assets faster than it's kind of reducing its liabilities. which is kind of standard. Its revenue relative to its market cap is still pretty good though. I mean, considering its revenue for 2020 was almost 64 million and its market cap is 29 million. So it's more than double its market cap in terms of revenue for 2020, which was a bad year. The biggest problem that it's facing right now is the fact that it's just not able to make money because people who work in these sort of industries aren't working, except maybe healthcare. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of the financial side of things, it's very risky. In terms of the idea, from a kind of technical point of view, I do like the idea. I mean, I do miss the kind of days when phones didn't break when you dropped them 3 foot. And for the fact that the phones can be networked together, yeah, that's pretty smart. Now, it's not a product that you sell to everybody in the planet. It's a product that you sell to a very niche group of people. But the product itself is actually quite promising. So it's very risky, and it's not something that I could ever say that it's like a safe investment. But who knows? It could, once things start to open back up, it could actually get itself out of this kind of gutter that it's in. But please bear in mind that none of this is meant to come across as investing advice. Please don't base any buying or selling decisions on the content of this video. Do extensive research before you buy any company. That brings us to the end of the video. I do hope you have enjoyed, and if you do have any thoughts on Sonim as a company in terms of the idea behind it or the financial side of it, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this video, all I would ask is that you hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.